It's almost!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams.
Hi, welcome to Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. From a scandal that has now taken a sensational turn to shock and anguish and, of course, a comedy of errors, Firstpost today is dishing it all. The Christian Horner scandal refuses to die down. The latest is a mail that has leaked, spilling evidences that has surprised everyone. Could this be the end of the road for Christian Horner? Speaking of going to a point of no return, seems like that is where Paul Pogba is. The World Cup winner is banned and aims to appeal, but how far can he really go? That's a question fans will be wondering about Manchester United. How far can the management go before realizing the horror show that is this season is proving to be? After the losses and the dressing room discord, the latest is them being the fodder for memes. Stay on for all of this and more, but first, Sports 360. We'll begin with football. Al Nassr and Al Hazm Saudi Pro League game ended in a 4-all draw. Sadio Mane's penalty put Al Nassr ahead in injury time, but a goal from Al Hazm's Paulo Ricardo brought the game to level. Al Nassr captain Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, sat out due to the suspension, but Ronaldo got emotional as fans cheered on for the Portuguese as he watched from his box. French President Emmanuel Macron inaugurated the Athletes Village for the Paris Olympics. The village will accommodate over 14,000 athletes and their staff. After the Paris Games, the village will be transformed into an eco-friendly neighborhood. But what's grabbed all the headlines is Macron promising to take a swim in the River Seine. This comes when questions are being raised over the river's water quality and cleanliness. Spain's women's football squad met their Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez on 29th of February. The team had just won the Nations League title, beating France 2-0 on Wednesday. Aitana Bonmati and Jenny Hermoso were also present for the celebrations. Spain's Prime Minister wished the team well for the Paris Olympics that's coming up. Los Angeles Lakers beat Washington Wizards 134-131 in NBA. LeBron James scored 31 points in the game and is nearing a remarkable record. James is just 9 shy of reaching the 40,000 points landmark. James will become the first person in the history to achieve that milestone after he overtook Kareem Abdul-Jabbar a while back. And in cricket, Australia's Cameron Green and Josh Hazlewood entered the record books. The duo put up the highest partnership for the 10th wicket for Australia against New Zealand in tests. The pair stitched together 116 runs during the first test in Wellington. The previous record was held by Jason Gillespie and Glenn McGrath, where they scored 114 runs. That was back in 2004. 18 wins, 21 podiums, 12 pole positions and the Drivers' World Championship title. After such an impressive 2023 season, Red Bull and Max Verstappen's focus, ideally, should be to defend their World Championship title. Instead, their concerns lie somewhere else. The heat around 2024 Formula One season does not seem to end, and this when the season hasn't even started. When we thought it would be Lewis Hamilton hogging all the limelight for his farewell season, the Christian Horner drama continues to mar Red Bull's 2024 preparations. The first practice session of Bahrain Grand Prix on the 29th of February was dramatically overshadowed by this. Just when Christian Horner thought he's a free man, clear of all the misconduct charges, a shocking and unpleasant development came about last night. It was as if the perpetrator was waiting for the verdict to come out and release the ammunition, the loaded evidence that would put not just the man in question, Christian Horner himself, but the FIA and the authorities as well, the Red Bull, who let him off under the radar too. And it's not just Red Bull, but the sport too that's at a dangerous juncture. And here's why. An email with sensitive information was leaked last night. The mail had messages and all communications between Christian Horner and a female member of his staff. The same female employee who had first made allegations of inappropriate behavior against Red Bull team principal. And the leak is sensational. From the messages, you can see that Horner constantly pestered the employee for her photos. The leak itself was sent from 2 different email addresses. 3 separate times to all recipients. Basically, the intention was clear. They wanted this to be out and make sure that no detail was missed. It contained 79 images on a Google Drive link and the messages between owner and the employee. Many of them are believed to be intimate in nature. All of this is unfolding while Christian Horner and Red Bull are trying to turn their attention to the races coming up. So, who was this leak sent to? The mail was sent to journalists, team bosses, and the FIA and Formula One managements. The subject line read, Christian Horner investigation evidence. The starting line of the mail said, following Red Bull's recent investigation and statements, you will be interested to see the materials attached here. There is no indication as to who sent these mails, of course, and the credibility of the evidences cannot be proven just yet. But such charges and allegations should raise alarm bells in the Formula One circuit, and especially after Red Bull cleared him of all charges following an independent investigation. Horner, on the other hand, continues to deny all allegations.
I won't comment on anonymous speculation, but to reiterate, I have always denied the allegations. I respected the integrity of the independent investigation and fully cooperated with it every step of the way. It was a thorough and fair investigation conducted by an independent specialist barrister, and it has concluded dismissing the complaint made. I remain fully focused on the start of the season.
Now, despite Horner stating his focus on the season ahead, the issue is now becoming too big to be ignored. And it certainly seems to be making an impact on Red Bull's performances. On the first day of practice before the Grand Prix, 2023 champion Max Verstappen and Red Bull struggled. Verstappen wound up 6th and Red Bull's new car looked miles off its mark. It was his biggest rival, Lewis Hamilton, in fact, who finished on top on the first day. And it's obvious when things aren't settled in the management, it's bound to have a ripple effect on the circuit, on the field, and in this case, the practice session. For their part, Red Bull knows a united front at this time is crucial. So obviously for them, it is just another day in business. Red Bull also, on their part, denied revealing any details of the complaint. The company also refused to state the evidence that they had considered during their investigations, leaving a bit of a gaping hole in all of this. So the biggest concern, whether this leaked mail is true and credible, is a general lack of transparency in this matter, which is being raised by many invested in the sport too, one of them being Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff.
There is a lady in an organization that has spoken to HR and said there was an issue. And it was investigated, and yesterday, the sport has received the message that it's all fine. We have looked at it. I believe with the aspiration as a global sport, on such critical topics, it needs more transparency. As a sport, we cannot afford to leave things vague and opaque on critical topics like this, because this is going to catch us out.
This is, of course, not the first time Wolff has expressed his concerns over this issue. He has been insisting that Formula One should look into this a little more carefully. He urged the bodies by saying the matter was not just restricted to Red Bull, but also concerns the sport. And supporting him on this is McLaren team principal Zak Brown.
The sanctioning body has a responsibility and authority to our sport, to our fans. They need to make sure that things have been fully transparent with them. It needs to be thorough, fully transparent, and that they come to the same conclusion that has been given by Red Bull and that they agree with the outcome. Until then, there will be speculations because there are a lot of unanswered questions about the whole process.
Clearly, this is not over for Christian Horner. And with the first race weekend already upon us, all talks are now about Red Bull and its tainted team principal. Not something the defending champion is keen on. The problem is that the nature of the allegations and that of the leaked communications are too sensitive and explosive. What this is also doing is putting the FIA and the authorities in a bit of a bind. From verifying the leak to then reopening the investigations looks like a very tall order and is bound to attract heavy criticism if nothing is done about it too. And Formula One, being a global sport, should be careful in such instances. The worry now is if the leaked evidences are even remotely true and prove to be credible. FIA has a fight on its hands and will be expected to take stern action to protect the integrity of the sport and, by that extension, set an example for creating a safe work environment for everyone in this sport. Glory, glory, Man United, a club with 20 league titles, 12 FA Cup victories and a 3-time Champions League winner, is bound to sing a song about glory. It's obvious. It's an anthem that was the reflection of the greatness of Manchester United. And I say was, with reason. The current state of the club doesn't quite reflect the same glory. And that is why you see the Old Trafford faithful dejected and heartbroken every single time now. Its Premier League standing isn't flattering, and not being in the Champions League is rather disappointing. Their only chance at silverware now is the FA Cup. But there too, they will be facing a very formidable Liverpool side that is hard to beat at this moment. But it's not just the fixtures lined up or the results over the last few months. The club is dealing with a problem of another kind, a Gen Z one. Manchester United is battling a social media meme fest lately. About a decade ago, I would have never anticipated any of this. Memes were not a thing back then. And more importantly, Manchester United wasn't going to be the butt of all jokes too. The once formidable side is now subject to mockery. Not just by fans, I can still get that. Fans have a way to tease and even cheer, or probably, poke a bit of fun to support their sides once in a while, or even taunt the competition. But imagine being mocked at on social media by rival clubs. That just spells a whole new low. Premier League club Fulham FC recently posted a video mocking United's captain Bruno Fernandes on TikTok. Not any player, though that's just as bad, but the captain Bruno Fernandes, and on TikTok, a platform reserved for these very memes. In the video, Fernandes is seen going down during United's 2-1 loss versus Fulham in the Premier League game. The purpose of the video was to mock Fernandes for diving dramatically and rather unnecessarily. Fulham's words, not mine, and that's made one man very furious, manager Erik ten Hag.
I didn't know this, but if they did it, I would say it is not right. It is absolutely not right that a club makes such a statement, because it is totally out of order and they were wrong, so they should apologize for this.
Ten Hag clearly doesn't find this funny and is demanding an apology, but you can't help finding this just a little bit hilarious. It's not like Fulham created the moment. It was Bruno all by himself, exaggerating his fall to get a free kick. And after claiming he was injured, Fernandes can be seen walking away rather comfortably. And it was this very injury that Erik ten Hag claimed was severe. After becoming a meme fest, the same Fernandes was back for United's FA Cup game against Nottingham Forest. Fernandes was at the receiving end of many robust challenges from the Forest players. He was even heckled by the opponents on multiple occasions. The picture of a player having his hand around Bruno's throat, of course, is splashed everywhere.
You see opponents are targeting him, and especially after Saturday when he had the knock and they see it. And then I feel the referee should protect him there. They had to change at the start of the game because it was so obvious they were looking for him.
Referee protecting a football player. Not often do you see managers saying that. Yes, you can argue over poor decisions, of course, but in football these things happen. And players play rough, and maybe that's why Bruno Fernandes and Manchester United have become fodder for memes. This is the same club that had Nemanja Vidic, Rio Ferdinand in defence. The same Vidic who was admired by United fans for his aggressive play. The same club which had Eric Cantona and his kung fu kick, Roy Keane, who tackled Erling Haaland's father, Alfie Haaland. A tackle so vicious that it ended Alfie Haaland's career. Now, don't misunderstand where I'm coming from. It's not cool being too violent, but that's not my point here. Manchester United, once revered, feared club. A club that intimidated its opponents is being mocked today. And with a fierce clash against Manchester City coming up just this Sunday, I fear for United and its fans. Has the theatre of dreams turned into a theatre of comedy? Banned, a word that can upset anyone in this space of sports, of course, a word that has the capacity to end years of hard work in just a moment. That's exactly what happened with footballer Paul Pogba. After enjoying years of success and multiple victories, including a World Cup with France in 2018, Pogba finds himself in deep trouble. The Juventus midfielder has been banned for 4 years following a doping offence. Pogba was tested positive for testosterone, a banned substance. Now, this happened in August 2023. The once midfield maestro now faces the threat of never playing again. Does this mean his career is all but over?
From winning the World Cup trophy with France to getting banned for 4 years for a doping offence, Paul Pogba's career has been a rollercoaster ride. the once formidable midfielder ruled the football field with his impressive display, and on occasions he was compared with greats of the game. But now his career seems to be all but over. In September last year, Italy's National Anti-Doping Tribunal provisionally suspended Pogba. Pogba tested positive for testosterone, a banned substance. This happened after Juventus' game against Udinese on the 20th of August 2023. Pogba didn't play that game, but he was on the bench. After his suspension, Italian prosecutors requested a maximum 4-year ban in December. Pogba opted not to make a plea bargain with Italy's anti-doping agency. So the case was tried before the country's anti-doping court.
I have today been informed of the Tribunal Nazionale Anti-Doping's decision and believe that the verdict is incorrect. I am sad, shocked and heartbroken that everything I have built in my professional playing career has been taken away from me. When I am free of legal restrictions, the full story will become clear. But I have never knowingly or deliberately taken any supplements that violate anti-doping regulations. I have never disrespected or cheated fellow athletes and supporters of any of the teams I have played for or against. As a consequence of the decision announced today, I will appeal this before the Court of Arbitration for Sport.
If he can prove the doping was not intentional, the verdict may be reduced. Pogba's camp asserted that the testosterone came from a food supplement, a supplement prescribed by a doctor in the US. As the camp continues to assert their innocence, Pogba faces the threat of never playing football again. And it would be a big miss given the talent he possesses. The fall from grace is not a new story. The biggest episode that hit fans hard was legendary cyclist Lance Armstrong. Armstrong was given a lifetime ban after allegations of illegal blood transfusion. Another top brass in the list is Maria Sharapova. The 5-time Grand Slam winner was banned in 2016 after failing the WADA drug test. The substance in question was meldonium. Following this, Sharapova was banned for 2 years. Canadian sprinter Ben Johnson finds himself in this unfortunate list too. He was banned for life after testing positive for excessive testosterone in 1993. And the most recent example, tennis star Simona Halep. The 2-time Grand Slam winner was banned for 4 years. Halep, however, is suing the Canadian-based nutritional company that she believes led to her ban. Will Pogba go down the same path as the other athletes? Or will he get another chance to play the sport he loves? What's certain is that it would be such a shame to see the superstar depart in such a fashion. And just another reminder that no matter how good you are, one misstep can make it all disappear.
It's time for Last Serve. Is there any sport that Saudi Arabia cannot host? The answer is no. Don't get me wrong, it's not an advert, but it's true they're coming up with some event every other week. Even skiing now is possible in the desert nation. Saudi Arabia hosted their first skiing competition with Snow Blast. Take a look. Never short of entertainment that, but thanks for staying on here on First Sports. We've come to the end of the show, but have a good weekend and I'll see you again on Monday with a lot of fresh stories from the world of sports. Till then, of course, take care. Bye.